think that if you look at those points that you just sort of discussed, number one is there's always a benefit to times like this. One of the benefits is if you take a step back and you look at your business down to every dollar, to every person, to every expense, times like this can actually make you more aware of things that you weren't paying attention to.
Yeah, these are big aha moments.
They are big aha moments. And what's great about that is that if you can become more efficient in all of these different areas right now to protect that cash flow or to clear up more cash flow, for example, to keep your marketing going, and to even though you know that marketing is not going to pay off at the level that it normally does right now, you're just staying in the game for when, you know, January comes around and that switch happens. Then when there's another bull run, you know, in your business, you actually end up being way more profitable in that next bull run because this moment in time forced you to actually look at the efficiencies, the inefficiencies, who's an A player, who's not an A player, and make your business stronger so that when that rush comes, you're in a significantly different position.
Yeah, because you got leaner and you became hyper aware of what was going on in leaner times.
Absolutely.
Right. Give you a funny example, Aaron. I had a fraud issue on one of my bank accounts, my core operating bank account a few weeks back. So I had to, as soon as I called about it, they said, sorry, policies, we've got to shut the account down and issue you a new account number. You have to go into a branch. I'm like, oh, me and my big mouth, right? Because you know what that's like. Your operating bank account, how many vendors in subscriptions, in payments, do you think are attached to a normal operating account in any given company, right? 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever, right? So my mind goes to, wow, I'm going to have to basically have my team and all the things that come through every month are going to say payment decline because, you know, bad card on file, whatever. But then I went, wait a minute, let me go to the bank and open up the new account. I have to do it anyways. But what a great opportunity to do something I've been meaning to do already for a month, which is literally have every single expense come into my inbox and say, this charge is denied. The card on file is no good. Great. Now I know what it is. I can decide all over again if I want to renew it. And then I can determine yes or no, move it to the side. I'm creating a spreadsheet and I can figure out what is all the stupid stuff I'm spending on that I don't need to. And also, Aaron, to the point earlier, who are the people that I don't need right now that I'm also aware of that are not A players, to my point earlier. So now I'm doing this hyper audit but not by design or by choice, but by default because I had to, because I have a new bank account. And I'm like, pissed the whole week as I'm doing it. And then I'm like, okay, the second weekend, I'm like, wow, I'm now really seeing every week a handful, a half a dozen charges coming in. And I'm realizing that I'm pretty much keeping about a third of it. I should say half of it, really, realistically. And wow, what a great way to lean. So I'm asking my team, do we need that? We've been paying for this for a long time. Do we need that if we can consolidate and do this, right? So I'm not saying go out and open up a new bank account, although sometimes that forced event helps because you'll say you'll do it, but then you won't get to it. But if you shut your bank account down and go open a new one and you're forced to get the new credit card, debit card that's attached to the operating account and you're forced to go get lean like that, then you have to do it and you can't skimp on it. So I'm almost glad it's a blessing in disguise that it happened. And here we go, right? Doing a full top-down audit as we go into October.
It's interesting that you bring this topic up because we had some fraud on one of our business credit cards a couple of weeks ago. And the bank did the same thing. They said, we got to shut the card down.
Yeah,
and
it's just policy.
My operations manager was freaking out. She's like, oh, we've got all of these subscriptions and we've got to do
this
right. And do that.
That was my concern.
And I said, just leave them for right now.
You'll get an alert. They'll let you know.
An alert.
They'll let you know 10 times. Believe me, they're coming for your money.
Oh, yeah. And I had multiple alerts come up and I did the same thing. I looked at them and said,
nice.
Do I really need that?
What are we doing, guys?
Do I really need that? And probably about a half of them, it was just lazy. People use it sometimes, but not really.
Exactly.
And so I was like, I'm not going to. And what's funny is there was one that I was unsure about that my team said they use all the time. And I waited to see if anybody would reach out. And it took 2 weeks. And one person reached out and said, hey, this thing isn't working. And I went, So this very expensive tool, I only had one person in 2 weeks reach out and say, Kenny, not worth it.
Absolutely. So, good move.
I'm done. And it's interesting because one of my old partners that you actually know, he put it on his calendar on the 1st of every year to cancel all of his credit cards.
Oh, he did the forced the cancellation by choice.
cancellation by choice.
I like it. Not by
And
default.
I remember when he told me about it, I said, why do you do that? And he said, because there's so many little
I love
charges.
that idea, man. I'm going to do it the beginning of the fourth quarter of here we are, right?
Just cancel it.
Oh,
and if it's a 911, you'll swap it out. No big deal.
And not to mention, Aaron, anybody who's charging you, believe me, they're coming 7 to 10 times to get their money. They're not going to just, oh, sorry, I reached out once, I canceled your account. No, they want your money in your business. Now, there isn't going to be any 911 cancellations, I promise you.
Now, here's what's interesting. When I canceled this last card with the credit card company, I can't remember the term they used. They said, do you want us to put in like the pro recharge system, et cetera? I said, what's the pro recharge system? And they said, oh, well, we will automatically allow any previous charges.
MX does that. I like that,
and
actually.
we'll notify the vendor, and then the vendor can just one-click swap over to your new card. I said, oh, absolutely
That's
not.
pretty cool. Amex Platinum and Black does that for sure. They'll give you a new account number, but they'll let you ride out any subscriptions if they verify them. It's like a personal verification thing.
I said, absolutely not.
You said no, right?
Let them all reach out to me because I want to decide.
I do not want any of your help.
No help.
Do not help me in any way, shape, or form. I'm my own worst enemy.